This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today we have a loaded podcast for you. We are going to continue our season rankings of the 30 starters for the position. Today is going to be centers. We'll break that up into three segments, 21 through 30, 20 through 11, and then 10 through 1. On that 10 through 1 segment, our buddy John will call in our patron. If you want to become a patron, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. So we'll do the positional rankings, like I said, broke up into those three segments. We'll be ranking every single team's starter, and we'll be doing it best from worst. If you haven't seen, we've been doing it for every other ones. We've gone through power forwards, small forwards, shooting guards, and point guards. Next week, it will be 6 men. And then after that, after we do our 30 center rankings, we will be welcoming in Sam to the podcast, a new patron. Well, not a new patron. He is a long-time patron, first-time caller. Hey. He is finally going to join the podcast. We're very excited for him to do so.
In the radio biz, they call that first time, long time. Hey, Sean, calling in. First time, long time.
That's why I said first time, long time.
Are you familiar with that phrase, Sean?
I am. The best is when Mike Francesa, the king of radio, has these guys calling and be like, hey, first time, long time, Mike. And he's like, yeah, what do you want? Shout out to the GOAT, Francesa. Anyways. And we're going to have Sam call in, and we're going to talk a little bit expansion and relocation business. So it should be super fun, but we have 2 patrons on, so we'll plug patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. If you want to be like John and Sam, well, you can't be, but you can be like them at least by joining us on patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We got the bronze tier, we have the silver tier, and we have the gold tier. And is it right? Did I get that right? Yeah. I didn't know if we did diamond or gold or something like that.
Diamond may be added. I don't know. We may add one.
You can
be part of the diamond club.
You could
the platinum level, right right between diamond and gold is platinum.
Well, we don't even know what diamond is. So let's not add another one.
Just possibilities.
Anyways, you could join us either on the bronze, silver, or gold tier at patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But boys, let's jump into it. 21 through 30. Ricky, start us off from 30 to 21.
Well, starting off at number 30, depending on where you are, whether it is in America or not, this may be spelled differently, but in America it's with an E, Dave and I learned. Jakob Poeltl at number 30. Dwight Powell at number 29. Zubac at 28. Dwayne Dedmon, 27. Thomas Bryant, 26. Alex Len, wanted to put Damian Jones, but Alex Len at 25. Cody Zeller at 24, Bam Adebayo at 23, Jared Allen 22, Tristan Thompson at 21.
Where would have you put Damon Jones? Would you put him that much higher than Alex Len? Like, who cares?
I don't know. It's just a debate I want to have.
All right. Ooh, it's a hot debate. People can't wait to tune in for the Damian Jones versus Alex Len
Positional
debate.
Battle. I love it. I love it.
Dave, give us your 21 through 30.
Speaking of positional battles, number 30, I've got Cody Zeller. I would have put Bismack Biyombo here. I'm just saying. At 29, I've got
Both
Jakob
suck
Poeltl.
and both would have been 30.
At 28, it's Alex Len. At 27, it's Dwight Powell. 26, Tristan Thompson. 25, Vika Zubac. At 24, Willie Cauley-Stein. 23 is Bam. 22 is Thomas Bryant. 21, Mitch Robb.
All right, and then I got my 21 through 30. Starting at 30, Cody Zeller of the Charlotte Hornets. 29, Dwight Powell of the Dallas Mavericks. 28, Jakob Poeltl of the San Antonio Spurs. 27, Alex Len of the Atlanta Hawks. 26, Wendell Carter Jr. of the Chicago Bulls. 25, Tristan Thompson of the Cleveland Cavaliers. 24, Hassan Whiteside, now of the Portland Trailblazers. 23, Dwayne Dedmon, now of the Sacramento Kings. 22, Thomas Bryant of the Washington Wizards. And 21, Willie Cauley-Stein of the Golden State Warriors, now the Golden State Warriors. And now we will move to our cumulative rankings. At 30, Dwight Powell of the Mavericks. 29, Jakob Poeltl of the Spurs. 28, Zeller of the Hornets. 27, Len of the Hawks. 26, Zubac of the Clippers. 25, Thompson of the Cavs.
Wow.
24, Dedmon of the Kings.
They
23,
He's been there
Bryant
forever.
of the Wizards. 22, Bam of the Heat. And 21, Wendell Carter Jr. Can we start here? Because I have Wendell Carter Jr. apparently way lower than you guys, even to a point where, Dave, I'm looking at your rankings, we're jumping ahead here, because he is in this 21 through 30. I see that you have Jared Allen below Wendell Carter Jr. This dude's played maybe 40 games. What the fuck is going on here?
44 games. To be exact.
Wow. And what did he do in those 44 games? Tell me, did he block anyone important? Because I know Jared Allen's been going up right at the rim and stuffing dudes. What has Wendell Carter done to be put in top 20?
He's a good player. He's a very well-rounded player. He put up 10-7 and 1.8 last year with 1.3 blocks a game. Like, just from a stat sheet line, diverse player. Not bad for his first 44 games of his career.
For sure.
This is a guy who is coming into the league being compared to a young Al Horford. Someone who has a good-looking shot, who we hope in time will eventually learn to shoot threes. Right now it's not there, but that's okay. In time, we'll let him get there. But it's just the fact that he's in a position playing the 5 with the Bulls, where you know you're gonna be splitting
Only
time.
The Bulls.
Only the Bulls.
Splitting time with Markkanen and Thad Young.
Yeah,
And Cam Felicio.
Shrek's not touching the court. Please no. Put him on the Windy City Bulls. No, I think he's in a really good position because like we've got so many guys who are drawing so much attention offensively, where he just kind of collects his quietly, and I think this year is going to be a fantastic year for him. I think defensively, yes, Jarrett Allen's a better player, but I think offensively, I look at Wendell Carter as someone who is smoother around the basket. I look at him as someone who has better handles. Jarrett Allen, amazing shot blocking capabilities, yes, but other than that, his offensive game revolves around lobs and dunks. Like that's it, and that's fine. That's a lot of centers have that, but as you start to space out the floor a little bit more, I want to give that increased value.
Is that not Hassan Whiteside, who you have above Wendell Carter Jr. here at 17? Is that not JaVale McGee at 15 here? Is that not Andre Drummond at 11? I understand that, but that's what centers are today. It's either guys that can stretch the floor, which Wendell Carter cannot do yet, and yes, he was fantastic at that in college and had around 80% from the line this year. So the framework is there.
That's what I'm saying.
But Ricky, 44 games, and this guy's already had 2 massive injuries. One ended his season last year, and then in July he had to have an abdominal muscle repaired, and he was out 6 to 8 weeks. And yes, that's not going to hamper his season. He should be ready to start training camp and should be good for the start in October. But come on, like this guy's only played 44 games. I think you need to see a little bit more than just
put
10
rookies
points
with 0
a game.
games played higher. So I'm just going to put that out
Zion.
there.
That's fair, but also this is a guy that has played already, and all he's shown me at least is that he can get injured. And yes, he did put up 10 points a game. That's fine, but they also didn't have their full starting lineup out there. He wasn't playing with Markkanen a ton. He wasn't playing with Chris Dunn a ton. These guys were injured. He wasn't playing with Otto Porter. I don't know how he's going to fill in. What if he becomes an absolute shadow and just hides in the darkness on this Bulls offense? Because they do have Otto Porter. They do have Zach LaVine. They do have Markkanen. If they do rely heavily on Kobe White's probably going to take more shots than Wendell Carter Jr. is. So I think it might be fair to at least give Wendell Carter Jr. a little bit more time before we put him in the top 20 above guys like Jarrett Allen, who is going into the postseason and playing well.
We didn't even know if he was going to be a starter this year.
Going up against DeAndre Jordan, who's been probably in our top 20 for the past 4 years.
Yeah,
so it's not like he's going up against Bum. It's not like Bismack Biyombo's replacing him here. It is DeAndre Jordan, who has been probably top 15, I think, even higher than that.
I want to say
for the past 4 years.
10.
Ricky, what am I missing?
Well, first thing I want to bring up, this is kind of something that I think about that's kind of similar, but not really because this player is in a different category than Wendell Carter Jr., but it makes me think back to 2016 when we were doing small forward rankings. There was a certain someone called Ben Simmons who had not played a single game the year before, and we had him ranked 19th overall. I had him 9. Dave had him 14. Sean, you had him at 15. This is just the trend of our rankings. Like, I'm really high. The people that haven't proven themselves, I'm really high on them. Dave's in the middle on them. Sean's really low on them. And what Dave was saying is, I agree with what Dave said. Everything that you mentioned, where it's like Hassan Whiteside, I have Wendell Carter above him. JaVale McGee, I have him above him. Where Dave says those are true members, are better forms of what Jarrett Allen is, I agree with you, Sean. Wendell Carter should be above them. It's just everyone above Wendell Carter to me, you're a center that it's not just, you're the best one on that team, or it's not you're a role player on that team. It's you are something special in the league. Like, you are a name that people know. You do your job very well, and you may do other things. And for Wendell, yes, he's only played 44 games, but if he can play a full season, I think Wendell could show me that he's at least the 15th best center in the league. with a full season. And that's what I'm hoping for this year from Wendell, is that he'll play a full season.
See, I'm hoping for the same thing. I'm not hoping for a bill of injuries for Wendell Carter Jr. I hope that he is healthy. And does he have the framework to become Al Horford? Absolutely. But I just want to see more out of there. Where Jared Allen last year, that was his second year. He did put up 10 points a game, like Wendell Carter Jr. He had more rebounds than Wendell Carter Jr. He averaged a block and a half a game. He shot 60% at the field. He was a guy that had, I think, a total of 7 win shares last year. He was a guy that was absolutely an impact player on a postseason team where Wendell Carter was a side note on this Bulls team that, hey, it's a bonus that we're getting this kid back. Now it's like we have 3 rookies in Wendell Carter Jr., Daniel Gafford, and Kobe White. And I understand that you guys, as Bulls fans, are excited. But come on, let's be a little bit realistic here. That was Ben Simmons. That was the number 1 pick. We knew that wasn't going to be a debilitating injury, and he only had 1. And we thought, hey, this is the Sixers. What do they do best? They tank. So why not hold him out, make sure he's fully healthy, tank, and we can just run this whole tank back again. It wasn't like we were genuinely concerned about Ben Simmons' injury history. We knew that this was a pretty fairly light and easy injury that we knew that they were going to hold him out just because they weren't playing for anything anyways. The Bulls probably wanted to see what they had in Wendell Carter Jr., but he wasn't available. And even throughout this offseason, he wasn't available. He wasn't available to play in the Summer League. So I do have my genuine concerns about his injuries already because he's had 2 somewhat, important or somewhat significant injuries now. Now
you can say significant, I can say minor.
Well, can it write off? I mean, he's out for at least a month for both of them. Correct. I mean, over a month. So I mean, that's if that happened during the season.
His minutes though.
Yeah, but if that would happen during the season, he's out 2 months there, and he's only playing around 40 games again. So that's my concern there is if these are happening in season, and this isn't just a thing that happened randomly in the offseason while working out, and this is something where his body isn't going to hold up. I do have genuine concerns about that because I don't think he's even fully up to NBA size yet. I still think he needs to add on weight. And if he's doing that and he's banging down low with some of these bigger guys, he might get injured again. So that is my concern with Wendell Carter Jr. I think he does need to prove himself just a little bit more. Like, him against Bam Adebayo, I understand that Adebayo does not have the range that, Wendell Carter Jr. is possibly offering out there. He absolutely doesn't. But he does bring a ton of energy. They absolutely love him. He is a guy that really brings that starting 5 together. And I think that is a big part
Bam might not even be in the starting 5 because they could slide Kelly O there.
They could, but that's what the Heat do. If you're looking at their best starting lineup, it involves Bam Adebayo out there and Kelly Olynyk at the 4. Yep. So whatever they do with the starting lineup, I mean, Jakob Poeltl isn't one of the best 5 players for the Spurs, but that's what we assume they'll do. Easily, you could slide in Rudy Gay at the 4 and then slide everybody down. So I look at this and I look at what Wendell Carter brings. I haven't seen enough from him to warrant a top 20 ranking, and I'm glad he ended up at 21 because I think that's a fair spot for him. I mean, Dwayne Dedmon's been a guy that can prove it. He was shooting from the outside last year for the Hawks, did well, and earned himself a contract, right? Tristan Thompson's one of the better, consistent, 10 and 10 guys throughout the league. I would like to see a little bit more out of Wendell Carter Jr., and that's really only the young guy that sticks out here. You could talk a little bit about Ivica Zubac, who ended up being at 26.
Just real quick, back to the stat checks. Jordan was a top 10 center for the last 3 years, and I think a top 3 a top 5 center the first year we did this. So I figure his minute split...
4. He was 4 behind Cat, Drummond, and Boogie.
Yeah, so I figure his minute split with Jared Allen might affect the stat line as well.
Mm-hmm. But even then...
and then when it comes down to crunch time, who are you going to trust?
Allen. Absolutely.
I think it's a fair question to ask.
DeAndre Drummond has
one guy has absolutely synergy with Kyrie Irving, and that's how this team's going to win games. So it's whatever Kyrie's comfortable with.
Understood, but DeAndre Jordan has slowed down. This is not the DeAndre Jordan that was 3rd. He's been free-falling ever since that 4th ranking that we had in 2016. So
free-falling all the way to 10. Like, come on, get out of here.
Would he have been 10 this year?
Probably not. Probably would have been 15 range.
So he went from 4 all the way down to 15.
In 5 years, that's not bad.
He's not the same impact player that he was. He's not still close to top of the league. He's not still contending for
30.
He's not contending for all defense anymore. He was traded from the Mavs to the Knicks, and the Knicks didn't even want to sign him back, which is fair. He wanted to sign with the Nets anyways. But this was a guy that he was expendable for these teams last year. He's not this guy that is needed. Where Jared Allen is absolutely loved by this Nets front office, And if you probably put a gun to their head and they're like, hey, we can give Jared Allen, 28 minutes a night, or we can sign Kyrie and DeAndre Jordan. That's why they signed DeAndre Jordan, is so they can get Kyrie and KD. Not because they really are in love with DeAndre Jordan. It's because he was going to secure the KD and Kyrie deal.
And the other thing I want to throw out with that is from Nets Daily, which I believe this is from SB Nation and their sites. They even say it's Summer League. So in a Summer League interview, Kenny Atkinson didn't seem to be bothered by having so many bigs with different skill sets. He thinks there are plenty of opportunities. He likes competition and thinks minutes could be decided by the situation on the court. So it's hey, does DeAndre Jordan fit this situation better than a Jared Allen? That's what's going to decide. It's not going to be Jared Allen's the one, and that's
he's
it.
Notoriously good at balancing minutes. They were kind of similar to the Celtics, where it's we had 5 guys playing between 22 and 29 minutes a game,
and they've got a boatload of forwards too.
They just play depth of that. They did lose Ed Davis, but I think that playoff time, they're a better team because of that.
I don't want to get too much in the waters with Allen because he is in the next round, but at least going back to the Wendell Carter thing with Jared Allen and kind of bringing that back in, I think one thing that Allen and Carter do not have is right now the situational awareness that a DeAndre Jordan would bring, or what Robin Lopez brought to the Bulls last year of knowing where to be on pick and rolls, where to spot themselves in the lane. I don't think they have that offensive awareness yet, and that's still something that they do need to grow, but if these guys do grow it, they will be offensive forces, and already right now we can see that Jared Allen at the rim is dynamic. He can stuff shots every single time. He was stuffing Giannis out there last year. Where Wendell Carter, he is more of a guy that is fluid. He can guard forwards. He can guard fives. He can, make some plays at the rim, but he can really guard guys up around the perimeter as well. So, these guys do have these defensive knacks to them. The offensive games are still developing just a little bit more. Other than that, 22 through 30 is kind of a wasteland. Does anyone jump off the page for you guys?
I've got a question. This is something that I know when I read off my rankings, you kind of mock because it's 21 through 30?
Yeah.
The big cats, the bigger fish are up top. But one thing I really wonder is something that I know Sean and I kind of went back and forth on a little bit when we were coming up with the list is the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, Alex Len had a better season last year than we're used to seeing. What do the Hawks do with him and now Damian Jones, who they brought over from the Warriors, that, he only played 24 games last year, but he started 22 of those 24 for the Warriors last season.
Well, here, since we were having the argument, I'll pick it up, and then Dave, you can kind of settle the score here. Damian Jones has played a career of 49 games. Right, and he was not trusted by the Warriors consistently throughout his first 2 years. He wasn't consistently healthy, and then he finally got some bill of health and started playing with the Warriors. But let's also look at who the Warriors had at center last year. They needed to bring in Andrew Bogut from overseas back. They were desperate for centers. So I don't think that the fact that he's played 22 games or started 22 games for this Golden State Warriors team means that he's a better player because he was playing on a better team. We look at Alex Len. He started 31 games of his 77 games for the Hawks last year, and that was with Dwayne Dedmon, who's above Alex Len on these rankings for good reason. He is a better player. I think the what's it called? The cohesion, the knowledge of playing with these guys already, like Trae Young, like Kevin Huerter, is going to give Alex Len at least the start already out of the gates over a guy like Damian Jones, who doesn't know this offense, who hasn't worked with, blanking on the Atlanta Hawks coach's name, Lloyd Pierce, hasn't played with Lloyd Pierce yet, where Alex Len has. And Alex Len looked pretty decent for Alex Len standards last year with the Hawks. So I think it's just because he's already played with the Hawks already, started 31 games, knows what it's like to play next to Trae Young, where Damian Jones, maybe at the end of the year he could win that starting role. I just think to start, since they already do have that cohesion and have already played together, I think that's why Len's going to get the bump. Because again, he wasn't bad last year. They let Dedmon walk for a reason. That was because they thought they saw enough from Len last year, and Damian Jones can bring up something a little bit different than what Len can do, because Len is pretty athletic, where I think Damian Jones is more of that typical run, block, dunk guy.
Yeah, I want to lean towards Len to start this year as the starter as well. It's just he's a solid guy with a repertoire. He's got experience. He's got game knowledge that Damian Jones just doesn't have. Damian Jones has been around winners. Credit to him, That's the whole
And
thing.
he's coming from a system the Hawks want to copy.
I'm just saying he's a spy. He knows exactly. He's bringing over the information.
What were
bringing
they
over the
doing
playbooks.
that we're
He
not
knows
doing?
Travis.
Yeah.
Travis Lenke, I think how you say his last name. He was a guy that was in the Golden State front office when they drafted Damon Jones. So, I mean, he has knowledge of Damon Jones.
But at the end of the day, Alex Len's solid. I think he's an okay player, and I'm just not ready to see the unprovenness of Damon Jones thrust into that starting lineup. Not like the Hawks have like expectations to the roof this year, but I think it's very much you earn your place on that team. They've got a lot of competition for
Bruno
roles.
Fernandez, who's also got
Your guy.
Bruno Fernando, for those of you who are new.
Yep.
But I mean, they've even got him peppered into the center to where it's like, I threw out Damon Jones when you were like, oh, Alex Len had a better season. I was like, okay, Alex Len. Like, it wasn't a hill I wanted to die on, but like the Hawks, just their center position to me is like, if Alex Len's in the starter, what do we then expect from like a Damon Jones, a Bruno Fernando to be peppered in with Len? Because I think all three of these guys are going to get time.
Well, I think it's probably going to just go hierarchy. Len's been there before, so he's going to get more minutes. Jones is more of a veteran, so he'll get more minutes than Fernando, and Fernando will get his minutes when needed, whether that be blowout times or sometimes just to spell some of those guys.
Yep.
If an injury happens, he'll get time. I mean, he's still a rookie. He needs to prove himself. He needs to learn the offense. He needs to learn the rotation. He needs to get in and get reps with these guys. So it's not for sure certain that he's going to. Yeah, it's not for sure certain that he's even going to get 10 minutes a game this year. He really needs to prove himself. I think he'll have to do that throughout practices. I think probably one guy the other guy that I was thinking, this is such a thin fucking group that I'm looking at the guy who's sitting at 20 and Hassan Whiteside, that I'm like, oh, we can go to Hassan Whiteside. Nope.
That's 20. No, come on.
I mean, Dedmon, I'm probably the most intrigued out of these guys outside of Wendell Carter. Here, now moving to Sacramento, they went after a ton of veterans in free agency, Dave. And we saw what Dedmon was able to do with the Hawks, able to add a three-point game. I think it could be interesting for this team that was relying so much on Willie Cauley-Stein last year. Now they can really throw out a ton of different looks to teams. They could throw out Dedmon, who could stretch out the floor. They can throw out your boy Harry Giles. They could throw out Bielitsa. Yeah. They could throw out Bagley at the 5. They have a lot of new looks now. I think it could be interesting with Dedmon.
Yeah, no, their 4-5 combo with that depth is absolutely just it's exciting because of the possibilities. Or they could just, be the Kangs and roll out 3 centers at once because that's a lineup they've done before. Check it. Like, it's happened. We're just rolling with it.
That was the Davey Yeager Kings, by the way. That was not the apparently Luke Walton Kings now.
Exactly.
We'll see if he even keeps his job with this whole... the investigation was
he's
clear.
For now.
We'll see what happens. But
no, I love Dedmon. I've got him ranked pretty highly because he was able to add that shot so quickly. I think it's definitely revitalized his career because he was a guy who was kind of middling. And, he had some success with the Spurs, moved over to the Hawks, a.k.a. the Spurs East for a while. And it's just been like, all right, what next? What else can he add to his toolbox to make sure he has that value to get the minutes on the court? Because he's a smart player. And he knows how to position himself well. It really just comes down to, like, how limited is he by his speed right now? And because he's able to add that shot to stretch it out, like, it's a big X factor for teams. And the Kings came up big with this because they have someone who crashes the glass as hard as Marvin Bagley does offensively. It's a huge win for them.
Well, I think they make and it's another reason why I love that signing is you talk about the lack of Dedmon's speed, but he is very smart. Hold on 1 sec. Hello? Hey, John, can you give us a call back in 5 minutes? We're just wrapping up a segment, all right? All right, thanks, brother. All right, cool.
I took the clock.
I emailed him and said, hey, I'll email you, and I don't think he saw it. Anyways, and I'm glad you brought up the speed part because, you talk about Dedmon's lack of speed, but you look at that starting lineup, De'Aaron Fox, one of the quickest guards out there. Buddy Hield's got some speed to him, and Bagley. I mean, that is a guy that's probably one of the fastest power forwards already, and we're even talking about his possibilities at center. I think that, that speed is probably going to... the speed in other places are going to help Dedmon really shine because he can put himself in the right spots. He can stretch the floor. He can score in different...
Trailing threes?
He can trailing threes. They move the ball around a lot too, which he can do. So I really love his addition to this because not only does he give him a versatile or the ability to be versatile in their looks, but also he does add something in a veteran presence to some of these young guys that do have those speed and that athleticism and that kind of, young juices.
Yeah.
They can get after it when Dedmon can just really, slowly, methodically pick apart defenses, which I absolutely love. And defensively, he puts himself in good spots. He learned from Pop, and he came from the G League all the way up to the Spurs and then got himself paid in Atlanta and now Sacramento. I really love Dedmon. I think he's a great addition.
Yep.
Ricky, anyone, final thoughts at least, on any of these names that we haven't touched that you really stick out? Bam, Thomas Bryant, Tristan Thompson, Zubac. I know it's kind of a thin list here.
The one I just want to throw out there, give some love to, is Thomas Bryant. He's one that last year we didn't have on these rankings. We had Dwight Howard instead. For
good reason.
Yeah, but had not a bad year last year as his first, I know it wasn't his rookie season, but it was pretty much his first year of getting significant games. And now having a team that's going to be, John Wall's probably not going to be there maybe the whole year. Bradley Beal might get traded if we talk about those rumors in the middle of the year again. This could be a year where Thomas Bryant could take a step. And I want to see him take a step because the three guys we have to top, Carter, Bam, and Bryant, those are the three guys that are the answer to the question you usually ask of who's moving into the top 20 next year or could.
Yeah, I think you're probably throwing Zubac out there. And I think Pirtle obviously has the youth at least to move up, but I don't think he will. And Zubac's pretty limited, at least in what he can do. Not that athletic, pretty slow with his feet, but does put himself in good
soft hands.
Yeah, he puts himself in good situations defensively, and again, soft hands. I mean, that dude puts up 15 in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Just because they dump it in, he's able to get it up really quickly. But yeah, I would agree with that. Carter's probably the easiest one to move into the top 20, but after that, I would probably say Bam and Bryant too, just because they can make impacts, and just because of their ages right now, they definitely can move up. Other guy I love too is Dedmon at 24, but this is really just an absolute fucking wasteland of a.
I feel like we're somehow disrespecting Tristan Thompson out of this entire list, though. He's a good player. I just don't.
He's on a bad team.
But he got injured last year. He wasn't fully healthy. He's on a bad team. If he was moved at the deadline, I would like him as a bench big.
Yeah, but is he better than a bench big at this point in time?
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, that's why he's 25. I mean, you had him at 26.
I
You
know.
had him below him where he actually is, Dave.
Oh, I know. He's
my question is...
Yeah.
Ricky's the one who had him at the highest at 21.
He just doesn't...
Here's my Tristan Thompson question.
Oof.
Who pays him next year?
That's the problem.
Because contract year, do the Cavs re-sign him? I wouldn't. Where does he go, and who pays him money? Because he's not going to get the money that I think he's making right now, which is 18.5.
No, he won't be getting 18 mil, and I think he's going to be kind of just like one of those guys that a playoff team picks up because he has experience with LeBron. He has experience in
So the Lakers.
Honestly, the Lakers.
Yeah.
If Dwight Howard doesn't work out, Tristan Thompson's a Laker.
I absolutely agree with you, actually.
I mean, he's a guy that can come off the bench, be super hyperactive out there, grab some boards, and put up points. I mean, he's a fine player. He's just not.
He just isn't healthy.
He's just fine.
He missed a shit ton of games the last 3 years.
He's fine. It's all Tristan Thompson does. TristanThompson.com
is fine.
You go to that and it just says he's fine.
He's fine.
Anyways, that's going to do it for 21 through 30. We're super excited to get to these next ones, 11 through 20, and finally 1 through 10, so we could talk Jokic versus Embiid.